Welcome back, students. Remember the Special Forces team that I've been harping on about? Well, you're about to meet your soldiers, your Terminator super soldiers, and by the end of this video, you'll know how to deploy them with deadly precision. Before we dive deep, a little bit of advice from me. While we're going through these indicators, resist the urge to go off there and start playing with all the different settings on your charts. Focus on what you're doing. It'll still all be there when we finish this lesson up. By focusing here right now, you're arming yourself with knowledge, and we all know that knowledge is power. So by keeping your curiosity at bay for just a few more minutes, I can give you the best possible starting steps. Ready? Let's go. Okay, so when we're in the charts, we'll set everything up to introduce ourselves to the soldiers. So if you want to clean things up a little bit, I suggest go over here to the vol, which is volume, and just remove that because we're not going to need that. Next thing, go to your indicators and open up the indicators section. You'll see that we have my scripts, technicals, financials, and community scripts. What I want you to do is just focus on this for the moment, which is technicals and indicators. Here, the first super soldier I want to introduce you to is the Arun. Press that little star to add to favorites, and then click on the name to add it to your chart. Now you can see we have a whole bunch of lines here. Think of Arun like your scout. This one here tells you when a trend might begin and when it might stop. You can see that when the orange line is above the blue line, that's an indication that the trend is going up. When the blue line is above the orange line, it's an indication the trend might go down. Arun up, Arun down. If you keep track of these, it will give you an indication of the trend. Now, I know what you're thinking right now. This indicator, it looks very chaotic and it's super confusing and you might even be a little bit overwhelmed right now. That's okay. What we'll do is later on, we'll cover how to clean this up and make this indicator a little more readable. But for the moment, I'm just introducing you to the best possible strategies that we can deploy. So before I introduce you to the next one, go to Arun, click on the name, and then go remove to relieve him of duty and to bring your next guy onto the scene. The next super soldier I'm going to introduce you to is the directional movement index. So again, we go back into the indicators section and we type in directional movement index should come to the top of the list. Remember again, favorite that bad boy and then click on the name to put him on the chart. Now, this one's interesting. We can open this up and have a closer look at it. This indicator consists of DI up, DI down, and a strength measurement. So what we'll do is just clean this up by removing the ADX, and I will show you what this looks like. So when the blue line is above the orange line, that means that we're in a positive trend because the positive trend is stronger than the negative trend. And then of course, as we look over here, you will have moments where the orange line is above the blue line. This is indicating a negative trend because the negative trend strength is stronger than the positive trend strength. Now that you know the difference between those two, we can introduce the ADX line, which increases the complexity just a little bit, and it represents the overall strength of the trend. Now, this is more of an interpretive measurement. You don't need to worry too much about it. If you want, you can just remove that entirely from your indicator like so, and just focus on these two lines crossing over. So that is the directional movement index, otherwise known as the DMI. If you've been paying attention, you would have noticed something a little bit annoying, and that's when the Arun was saying things were going to go up, it was yellow. And then when the DMI said things were going to go up, it was blue. So you might be asking, which one is correct? The truth is, neither of them is correct. You will be faced with a universe, a whole kaleidoscope of different indicators out there in the real world. And when they're going up, sometimes they'll be yellow, sometimes they'll be blue, sometimes they'll be purple, green, red, orange. It doesn't matter. As long as you're paying attention to the indicator and you're looking very carefully at what it's telling you, you shouldn't get wrapped up too much in what you believe it should be. Always be paying attention to what the indicator is telling you. Every indicator is going to be a little bit different. So they're going to mix around the colors a little bit, just as long as you're paying attention to whether it's saying it's going up or down. That's the main thing. So let's get back into it. Now, where your DMI is like your field strategist, what we're going to look at next is the moving average convergence divergence, also known as the MACD. You can see this, it comes to the top of the list here. Favorite that one and put him onto the field like so. Now, the MACD is like the communicator. He tells you the direction of the trend, the strength of the trend, the rate of change between certain things. The MACD is a classic indicator, and anybody that's been in the investing game for a while will know its name. It's very simple to read. You have, again, a blue line and an orange line. In this one here, if the blue line is above the orange line, that is a bullish trend. And if the orange line is above the blue line and it's declining, that is a bearish trend. You can also see the column bars in the background. This is a histogram showing you the rate of change of these two lines moving against each other, which can give you some insights into their future movements. But of course, you don't need to make it as complicated as this. Just look at the crossover points between these two lines, the orange and the blue, to see what direction the trend is going in. Now to introduce you to the next one, parabolic SARs, also known as the stop and reverse. Add to favorites, and let's put that on the chart right now. Now you can see this one is slightly different to the other ones we've looked at. You can see that now we have lots of little dots that have appeared on the screen. They're very hard to see right now. So what we might do is we might make those a little bit easier to read by making them thicker like so, changing a couple of these settings around like this. So make it a lot easier to see. And of course, I might hide some of these drawings so it's even easier for us. Now, the parabolic SAR is like your sniper. It reacts very quickly and it can give you an indication of when the direction might be changing. You can see here, it's very chaotic. It's all over the place. Every time that you have an indication of where it might change directions, it will come down like so. And when it touches the price, it will quickly flip from one side to another. Now, of course, we can slow this down to make it a little more relaxed. We can go to inputs and change some of these values around. However, I won't be showing you how to do that right now. I just want to introduce you to this guy so that you know approximately what he looks like and how he behaves. Okay, so the next super soldier I'm going to introduce you to is the medic, and he is going to be the RSI, also known as the Relative Strength Index. Favorite that bad boy and throw him onto the chart. Now, the one that you will be introduced to straight away will have two lines. It will have a RSI line and a moving average. To simplify things, we can just go to style and remove the RSI based moving average to start off with. We can use the moving average later on. However, for the moment, we're just going to start with the RSI line. So this is a very, very classic indicator as well. Anybody that's been in the space for a long time will know what the RSI is and how it works. Basically, it just shows you the strength of the price relative to previous prices. A lot of people use this as a cheap and expensive style of indicator, but we know better. We're going to use it as a trend indicator. So when this line is above 50, the middle line here, that dotted line in the very middle, when it's above this, it is in a bullish trend. And when it is below the halfway line at the 50 mark, that is in a bearish trend. So as it goes above and below the midline, so every single time it crosses over that midline, it transitions from bearish to bullish, and from bullish to bearish, and so on and so forth across the chart as you go. This is how the RSI works when trend following. Now, I know at the start I said I was just going to give you 5 soldiers, but in this lesson, I'm going to give you an extra 2 indicators as a bonus so you have the best chance of success. So let's check them out. Next up is the super trend, who is going to be your frontline defender. Type in super and he should come to the top of the list like so. Make sure you favorite that one and add it to your chart to have a look. Now, this guy here will always give you a solid position at the expense of sometimes giving you false signals, but that's okay. It's still quite a robust indicator to base your strategies off. You can see here that when the line is red, it indicates a downtrend, and when the line goes to green, it indicates an uptrend. You can see here that the signal period between bullish and bearish and backwards and forwards is quite good. Super trend is also one of my personal favorites. Finally, our last soldier is the intelligence officer. What I want you to do is type in SMI and you will see the ergodic indicator. I want you to put that on your chart, make sure you favor it. And now you can see we have, again, a nice indication of where we have positive and negative trends. When the blue line is above the orange line, that is a bullish trend, which means things are trending upwards. And of course, when the orange line is above the blue line, that means we're in a bearish trend and things are likely to trend downwards. So you can see it going between bullish and bearish phases. And this is how you would read this indicator. Now listen out there. For all you lads and ladies who are wondering what is the deal with all of these numbers and lines, remember, these aren't just any old indicators. These are the guys that are going to have your back in this war zone of finance. And to command them effectively, you need to understand them, work with them, respect them. Don't just slap them on a chart and expect miracles to happen. You need to understand their nuances, their strengths, and their weaknesses. Lastly, keep your wits about you. The market is unpredictable and wild. But with these Terminators by your side, you won't just be playing the game, you'll be dominating it. So before you jump into anything else and dive into the vast ocean of cryptocurrency investing, ensure your ship is built sturdy with the knowledge that we're sharing here. Alright, lock and load students. In the next lesson, you're going to see these Terminators in action. Stay tuned in and stay focused.